All right, Shalom. Let's start. I'm saying, Call Halayim La Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Hamakakwadash Mama. Double honors to the elder apostle, the great millstone of my elder Herod as well. Salutations to the Akmi of the pushing the truth, sincerity, and truth. And peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Tchilat Sa'am by Yashar from the Lions and the Yashar camp. This is another Lions and News and Prophecy. And here we go. This is Second Ezra 15:1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth," saith the Lord. And um, it'll be a wise decision for those that are being spoken to listen up and move according to what the things that have been saying. The times of prophecies are heating up real quickly right now, man. It's getting real serious right now. It's a blessing because this is our captivity being turned back right before our eyes, just like the Lord said He would. Right, so you got this ongoing economic feud with first of all, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to serve the purpose for the hope of the elect, the ones who truly believe in the name of Yahweh Shemel Shai. But the topic is on this article right here that says China releases video of encounter with U.S. aircraft carrier fighter jet. And I didn't see a video, but hopefully I can find a video. If I find a video, I'll post it up in post production so y'all can look at the video of the encounter. But what you have going on, you got this ongoing economic trade war going on between the United States and really the whole world because of Donald J. Trump with the tariffs he's been setting. But the main focus on the main stage of this concert, you have the feud between China and the United States, and that's the one. Because the crazy part about it is the elder did a lesson a couple of years ago talking about Klaus Schwab, and was talking about the agenda of the elite and said talking about how China was going to be set up as being the new world power as far as economics, um, and America was going to be slowly circling the drain. And this is all being done by the upper elite. They said this is the plan of theirs, and just so happened, you know, right after 2020, um, Japan's not Japan, but China's economy snapped right back, like snap right back, right? And I did a lesson yesterday on um in the beginning of the lesson. We talked about, you know, there was a guy, Chinese dude, talking about saying, don't blame China for what America's doing with its money that's taken from the people. You see that? So China was able to bounce back because they invested money back into China, right? But now any gain that the United States get, they invested it back into the corporation, into the elites. You see what I'm saying? So, so now because of that, and because the United States have totally wiped out the middle class, like it's going in a downward spiral. That's like it was spoken of in um, the elders' lesson. So, seeing that Elder Apostle Harding, this is the year of Jacob's trouble, or the year of the coming of our Lord. It, it really is really looking like that. Because here we are in the what, April? We're about a fourth of the way through the year, through the fiscal year or whatever. Yeah, January, February, March. Yeah. So a third, or four, yeah, we're a third of the way through, almost a third, and so much has happened from the time period where Apostle Hardin coined it to be the year of the coming of my Lord to right now, and so much that's been happening to the rest of. No, I firmly believe. I surely hope we're out of here this year. You know, I understand it's not going to be a cakewalk, but you know, I you know I see faith coming at its all time high. You know what I'm saying? 2025. Um, and as these prophecies increase, so is our faith going to increase to the point to where like there's no fleshly thing that's gonna be able to distract us or you know what I'm saying. We're gonna our spirit is gonna be so heavy. We're gonna be totally focused on the Lord and be ready to get up out of here, man. I feel that coming. You know what I'm saying? A lot of brothers are putting out lessons, you know what I'm saying, back to back. And, you know, you got the elders and everything going into deep thoughts, like revealing the things that, you know what I'm saying, that are deep. You know what I'm saying? Especially the elders of our camp, you know? So now, um, these, so with that being said, the individual said America needs a revolution, right? That goes into, what is it? Jeremiah, is it 50 or 51? Let me find out. So a revolution for what, right? Like everybody been trying to give America all these different remedies on how to, you know what I'm saying, become better. Right? Make America, what was it, Obama? Hope. Um, um, then make America great again. You know, so many things, so many slogans were put forth, right, to try to prop this place up. But nothing's gonna work. Nothing's gonna work, man, because of why? How about you know try to set it up for it to happen the way it's gonna happen right now. Hold on. Jeremiah 51 and 9. Okay. In Jeremiah 51 and 9, it says, start at verse 8. It says, no, 7. It says, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made the earth drunken, and nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So the nations are foolish. They were foolish because they were drunk off the wine of the Babylon Jews. And they became foolish and they began boasting with America. Then they realized they were hoodwinked, bamboozled, right? They were crazy. Just like how Babylon's crazy. They're insane, working off of foolishness, operating off of foolishness, you know, and had everybody falling away, especially China. Now, for these two big powerhouses to be bumping heads the way they're bumping heads right now is a big issue because, um, oh man, it's a scripture that says that you followed in the elder brought it out. You follow in the ways after Babylon or something like that. I think it's in the Apocrypha. And like pretty much America birthed China, just like how Britain or Europe birthed America. America birthed China. Everything that America did, China followed right behind it. You know, that's why, you know, China became America's number one trade manufacturer and trade ally. And that's why China is one of the China and Japan are the biggest debt holders of America's debt. Right? So now everybody following after the ways of Babylon, they became foolish like Babylon. Verse 8 it said, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. Right. They're howling for America. Make America great again. All right. Trying to find all these things to stimulate America. Like clear. What is that? A defibrillator, whatever it's called. Clear. They putting the shock to America to try to stimulate and bring it back, but it ain't gonna happen. Verse 9 it said, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Let us go, everyone to his own country, for her judgments have reached unto heaven and lifted up even to the skies. Right. Ain't nobody gonna be trying to partake of what's gonna happen with Babylon. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's gonna forsake America. Everybody's gonna forsake America and leave her out hung to dry. You know? So there's no healing to this place, man. And ain't nobody gonna want to have no dealings with this place at all. And you know what I'm saying? The only thing they feel like there's gonna be other nations that are gonna be like, you know, they're gonna be upset because of the money they used to make off of Babylon, but they're trying to these are at least trying to set China up to be that new economic powerhouse, you know? So now for this to say China releases video of encounter with U.S. aircraft carrier fighter jets. Like these other nations, and there's another one I got to read that said China warns other nations about being somewhat or roughly paraphrased about being allies with the United States, dealing with the trade war that was going on. Hearing things like that being spoken of about Babylon, about America, are insane. It's crazy because you never heard anybody talking like that about. I mean, you have like you have like countries like Iran, but that's just like scrappy dude. Let me out. I'll get him. I'll mutilate him. I'll do this, and everybody's looking at Pew. You know what I'm saying? But for like a big influential powerhouse nation like China, you know, like puffing his chest out against America is is end all tell all times of the fall of this place. All right. So it says in the article, before I already got along with it, but in the article it says footage recently released by China state media appears to show a close encounter between Chinese and American carrier-based fighter jets over a undisclosed location in the waters. It says we don't have a comment on specific operations, engagement, or training, but we routinely operate in the vicinity of foreign aircraft and ships in international waters and airspace in the Indo-Pacific. The United States Pacific Fleet told Newsweek why it matters. It says the United States military often operates in the Western Pacific Ocean, including the contested East and South China Sea, where its aircrafts have been intercepted by the Chinese military. The Pentagon has previously accused the Chinese Air Force of conducting unsafe intercepts. It says the United States aircraft carriers have been deployed to the waters west of the international date line on a bias maintaining routine bias, maintaining the United States naval presence. They are protected by fighter jets embarked abroad, which are tasked with intercepting foreign aircrafts approaching the ships. It says, all right, so, but why is he over there? We ain't got nothing to do with America. What is that going to? Let's get it. Let's get to Habakkuk. Pause that real quick and go to Habakkuk chapter 2. It says, Habakkuk 2 and 3 says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but the end shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Right. As for this appointed time that we're seeing now, all right. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Right. But like I said in the beginning, our faith is going to be so increased that nothing's going to be able to attack us, man. That spirit is going to overpower the body. It's going to be crazy. That's when we're going to start developing those spiritual powers, man. All right. It says, so now if you listen to this article, right, the way it's put together, it paints a narrative as if, the United States were minding their own business, just doing some routine stuff, right? And China is being a bully and picking at them. That's the narrative that it paints because it's what United States news media that's giving this story, right? But there's three sides to every story. Um, One side, the other side, and then there's the truth. All right, which normally it coexists of both of them put together. A little bit of this story, a little bit of that story that conforms to truth. Because not everybody's going to tell their motive behind anything. They're going to paint their own narrative. But the fact of the matter is, The United States has military occupation over there in the South China Sea, over there in the Indo-Pacific and the international waters. Why? Why? All right. So, but they're painting the narrative as if it's a just cause for them being over there. No, it's because they just cannot keep it home. Let's keep going. Habakkuk 2:5 it said, "Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desires as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." That's why he's over there. That's why they're over there in the first place. That's the narrative that they should be painting because that's the reality. They don't keep it home. They don't mind their own business. They gather to them all nations and all people. There's not a continent on this earth that America does not have a military base at. You see that? All right. So now going back to the article, it says what to know. On April 11th, the state-run China Central Television aired a documentary about the country's aircraft carrier fleet. The Chinese Navy has two aircraft carriers in active service, while a third is expected to be operational in the first half of 2025, according to the Pentagon. The documentary, which goes into detail about flight operations of the J-15 carrier-based fighter jets, briefly shows the undated close encounter in question. A J a J515 a J-15 fighter jet can be seen flying close to a second fighter aircraft positioned to its front left. Chinese military observers identified the second fighter jet as a U.S. Navy FA-18 based on its shape. A spokesperson for the United States Pacific Fleet did not confirm nor deny whether it was the FA-18 fighter aircraft. See that? They wouldn't confirm or say it wasn't. Maybe, maybe not. Type shit. That just shows that there's an agenda. There's a hidden agenda behind their moves, and they're gonna paint a narrative. They don't do a pretty good job at doing it though. It says um it says the jet, also known as a Super Hornet, comes with the single seat E variant and the two seat F variant. It is designed for a vehicle for a wide range of missions, including escort and interdiction. It was not immediately clear why American and China carrier-based fighter aircraft had an encounter. A Chinese military observer said the J-15 jet was dispatched to intercept and drive away the FA-18 jet during a Chinese aircraft carrier's ocean-going training. Hmm. So what are people saying? What Okay, let's see what people say. I don't know how important this is going to be. We're going to see what people are saying about this. It says a spokesperson for the United States Pacific Fleet said the U.S. Navy is committed to upholding a free and open Indo-Pacific alongside our allies and partners, where all nations, large and small, have the freedom to sail and fly consistent with international law. See, that's the bullshit. See that how they just 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 became just threw on the wolf's clothing. I mean, threw on the sheep's clothing and trying to act like they're being all diplomatic. What the hell? That ain't got nothing to do with the international waterway. That's what I'm saying. They don't want nobody coming over here, flying over here like that. So what makes them feel like they can go over there and fly over there like that and have all kind of ships and stuff in the water? You see that? So that's them trying to coming all soft. He says it's words are smoother than butter, but word a war was in his heart. They're doing exercises to set up for war, man. That's their motive behind this whole thing. It said the Pentagon's report on Chinese military power said since late 2023, the People's Liberation Army has reduced the number of coercive and risky air intercepts of the United States platform compared to the previous 2 years, when the PLA engaged in notably increased aggressive activity, particularly in the East and South China Sea, because that's their territory. Why are you even there? It says, what happens next? The American and Chinese military are likely to have further encounters at sea and in the air while operating in the Western Pacific Ocean. See that? So they're gonna have further encounters. What's that gonna do? It's gonna cause things to escalate, man. It's going to cause things to escalate. So we're witnessing that transition in power, but it's not going to go the way they think it's going to go. Right? That transition is going to transition right from Esau's ownership over to us, and we're witnessing it happening right now in front of our face, because the Lord said He's going to do it exactly like that. All right, Lord, willing, this lesson will edify and serve the purpose for the hopeful elect, the one who truly believe in the name. How about Shemi Shai with that? And like I say, call Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Harikah Kodash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostle, the great millstone, and my elder here one as well. Salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth to sincerity and truth. And peace and blessings to the men and women and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.